right, guess where we are? We are not too far from Yuma, the great town of Yuma, Arizona. We are doing, I don't know if it's that peak or that peak. I don't think it's that peak. I think it's one of those two, but it could be back further. Fortuna Peak. We drove off the highway or the main paved road just a little bit, like a quarter mile, but then the road started getting a little rough with some big rocks, so I just pulled over. But this should be a 2-hour adventure tops. I'm not sure how much scrambling is involved at the top. According to the reviews, there's plenty, but it's also on all trails, which means it's easy. So I think we might be following this road up, but we might split to the right. So we're probably about a mile from the car. I'm thinking it's that peak, but it could be this one. Well, the climbing has begun, although I think it's going to flatten out again. But here's a nice steep little portion of the road. All right, so we've reached where I saw from a distance where the road sort of turned to trail. Got a little 20-foot drop, but now I think we're going to be on the steep ascent pretty much from here all the way up. So this probably will be a little taxing at some points. I legit think it's like close to 1,500 feet in 1 mile. It might be like 13 or 14, but it's over 1,000, that's for sure, when you look at the elevation profile. So we're sort of just right on the right side of this wash, and now we might be crossing over. We might be in the wash. There has been a trail that's been easy to follow to this point. So a good tip when you look at, I don't know if you can see this, but when you look at a topo map, when it's a drainage, you have the V's that are open down. So the track is right on the right side of them. So I know I should still be on the right side of the drainage, even though, ooh, it might be right here, even though the trail's not very apparent. So obviously the more you look at maps, the more you navigate, the better you get. But whenever you see a V that's open down, that's a drainage. Whenever you see a V open up, that's a ridge or a rib. So you can use those terrain features relative to your GPS track to tell where you need to be. So that is the tip of the day, if you will. And it looks like we're kind of, oh, look, Karen. So I think we're on a trail. So we're still just on the right side of the drainage. Here's a nice cairn. It's, I wouldn't say it's easy to follow, but it's not hard to follow. So, still got a long way to go. I don't even know if that's the summit, probably not. Big white X up there, so I think we're heading towards that. But honestly not. I'm guessing we're just heading like straight up near this drainage. We're back on a use path. There's a cairn. So we're in good shape for now. Adventure, we're halfway up, the steep part at least. Obviously a lot more than halfway from the car, distance-wise. There's a plane wreck somewhere up here, around 1,600 feet. I don't know what elevation we're at, I should look. I think we're like at 1,500 though. So we're getting close to some World War II era plane wreck, I think. And actually, sorry, check that. I see some pieces of the plane wreck. There's some bunch of pieces of metal, not nearly as extensive as like on Humphreys, but there is a box here, a registry for the plane wreck. Interesting. to the plane wreck. You can see there's more pieces. And there's another white cross up there. I can see more wreckage. So there looks like a wheel or the bearing of the axle. So yeah, it is strewn about this whole drainage, and the drainage splits. And it looks like we're supposed to stay to the right. Very rocky, as hopefully you can see. So it's sort of Flatiron-esque, sort of in the, you know, picket post. Well, it's rockier and looser than picket post or Picacho, but similar steepness, I guess, in the steeper parts of those hikes. Look at that. 2 crosses now, so we're gonna follow the crosses up, I think. Steep, but not unmanageable by any means. Here's a nice piece right here. Yeah, I like it. Make sure you don't cut yourself on any of this. So I just checked the map. We're only a couple hundred feet from the summit, so you can't see it yet. But presumably we're gonna hit a ridge or a notch, and then I think the summit will be up to the left. Not that, it's not that far away. But yeah, this is a good steep class 2 effort for sure. So almost up to a saddle, and then the summit should be 100 or 150 feet above us. I should have just kept it running, but we've hit the ridge or the shoulder. There's Yuma down there. There's I-8. Feels great with the wind. So now, can't see the summit, it's up there. Might get a little scrambly up high, but it shouldn't be too bad. Guess we'll find out. Dun 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 dun. Sort of a class 3 move, but easy class 3. Just big step ups, or you might want to use your hand. I was hopeful, still am, there's some sort of rocky summit block that I need to navigate. Let's go this way. Let's gain the ridge. Aha. We're on an upper saddle. Oh, we see a post. Summit's up there. So where I see that cairn, keep going down. It's gonna be key. Aha. Trail seems to wrap over here. And from here, looks to be an easy walk up here, but let's go up instead and get on the ridge. The ridge is generally always more stable because you're on like major rock, whereas the slopes are more loose. Yeah, here it is. I'm not sure what people were saying, that it was scrambly up high. It's definitely not. That's what I figured. And you leave it to most people on all trails. They're not going to be used to this stuff. Dun, dun, dun. Fortuna Peak. We made it. There's another peak there. Higher peaks out there. Gorgeous day. Absolutely gorgeous. You can see forever too, which is cool. Not all the way to the ocean though. Still a couple hundred miles to the ocean. So I'll sign the registry, and then I gotta be careful getting down with how steep and loose it is, but it should be fine. So this is why it sucks to go down, because it's loose, but then you can run into cactus like all over the place. So going up, it's nice and easy to step up, but going down, you slip. You're running right into an ocotillo, and you're getting spiked big time in the face, and it's all loose. See, not exactly ideal terrain for descending quickly, but I think it'll get better as we get lower. You can see the semblance of the path. It's just all loose, so at any point I'm just gonna start a rock slide or start slipping. But yeah, I'm just on the verge of starting rock slides. I don't want to run into these guys. They hurt if you run into them. So, yeah, on the way down. Oh, another point I wanted to make. I don't understand when people say they want poles, or poles are a necessity for the way down. If I had poles, I couldn't use my hands to brace myself, and so it would just be a disaster. I'd have these poles in my hand and they'd be getting stuck on rocks, then I'd have no hands to brace. I'd start slipping, wouldn't be able to stop myself. It's so nice when you can sort of half crab walk or just grab rocks when you need to for stability. Just like even right here. I mean, it's not necessarily necessary to do that, but it helps a lot. So I don't get why you would ever use poles for something like this, or anything steep for that matter. If you're thrusting on a steep uphill on a nice dirt trail, absolutely, sure. But that'd only be if you're going for some sort of FKT or time, or PR. You know, if you're just hiking, there's really no point. So anyway, rant over, continuing down. We should be getting near some plane wreckage soon. So just like any drainage, as you get lower, it'll start to get less steep and start to open up as it dumps out and spreads out lower onto the drainage plane. So it's getting easier and easier the further we get down, and then the last mile and a half we'll be able to jog it back to the car. So the use path is readily apparent. Ow! The rest of the way. So we basically run this drainage almost all the way out. We're just in it right there, Cairn. You can see how it's a much nicer path now. Cool tree. You can see we're almost out. So we're gonna drop off this and we'll have the road back. And we're back to the road. So we'll have mile and a quarter, mile and a half on this, but it'll be slightly downhill, so it'll be pretty cruiser, even though it's not always the best footing. Up there, I think that's our peak. I think that's the drainage we came. Yeah, pretty sure that's the drainage you see right there. So we'll be back at the car in 10 minutes or so. And we're back. That was 1 hour 54 minutes all in. So yeah, about an hour up, 50 minutes down, or 50 minutes down. So and yeah, there it is, I think. Yeah, that one to the left of those two ones out there. So it was a pretty long run out. So see you on the next one.